Hello, I'm Harry Riley. Welcome to Harry's 10-Minute Tales. This is called Ricochet Davis and Twist Mackenzie by Harry Riley. The two men rode away in a cloud of dust, and trail boss Alex Cotton whistled for his drovers to gather around the chuck wagon. Listen up, boys. Texas Rangers say there's been a raid on a herd already this spring, further up the trail near Wichita Way, by the Panhandle. Could have been Indians or renegade whites. Nobody knows till they're catched. So we've got to be more vigilant. From now on we sleep with our boots on and one eye open. Cattle are jumpy after 3 days without water after crossing the Rio Grande, so the slightest thing will spook 'em. Where's young Billy? Stubborn devil's never here when you want him. Joe the cook spoke up. He's just coming, Lex. Don't be too heavy on the boy. Here, sorry, boss, said the recalcitrant Billy, hurriedly emerging from behind some scrubby bushland and adjusting his trousers as he ran. Right, Billy, you're horse wrangler from now on. Guard the remuda with your life, and don't sleep on the job, or it'll be the worse for you. Here, you'll need these. He produced a bundle of short hobbles. You know how to fix these on the stock horses? Billy nodded positively. Alex continued. Ricochet and Twist have volunteered to do extra night guard. With the cattle strung out, we're going to be more at risk for a while. Twist ain't one for talking, but you can bet your last dollar, if he drops a note on that harmonicon of his, the herd's ready to be buffaloed. The cook, Joe Bailey, had taken young Billy under his wing, and after this talk Billy was busy helping him prepare supper for the men. He was naturally inquisitive, and Joe noticed the lad was deep in thought. Come on, out with it. Something's bugging you, so let's chew it over before it swallows you whole. Billy stirred in a bit more grass, adding body to the thin goulash. Take nothing really, Joe, but how do you figure Ricochet got his name? Joe laughed. That's easy, young'un. The tale goes he was called out by Big Jake McCoy down in El Paso. They both went for the guns, Jake drawing first with his Colt, and Davis firing from the hip without taking aim. Big Jake was still grinning like a polecat when a stray bullet from Davis zipped off the well and bit him in the neck. That was the end of Jake, and the birth of Ricochet Davis. Ain't you noticed the pepperbox revolver he wears in that old canvas hip holster? He needn't aim his Widowmaker. The fastest gun keeps well clear of that. Billy was still perplexed. And what about Twist? How'd he get that name? Another easy one. When he ain't screeching on that there mouth organ, he's busy chewing on a twist of baccy. Claims he likes the molasses that sweeten 'em, though I reckon it blunts his appetite. Eats like a gal and never fattens up. Joe had another thought. Remember what Lex said about the remuda? Well, don't forget our wagon mules with your checking, or I'll strip your guts and feed 'em to the buzzards. 20 drovers were escorting a Texas beef herd of 2,000 Longhorn cattle along the 1,000-mile Chisholm trail from San Antonio to Abilene, Kansas. It was hot, dusty work with the ever-present threat of stampedes, drowning from dangerous river crossings, and rustling, as well as disease like Spanish fever. This particular day was like any other until Davis, who was trying to lasso and cut out a rogue steer that was hustling a group of cows, heard a gunshot and saw Twist waving his arms in the air to warn of attack. Twist was a long way off across the herd, and Davis couldn't reach his side. He joined the other drovers as they tried to outrun the crazed stampede leaders and head them off. It was soon clear that 4 or 5 rustlers had attacked the tail end of the herd and turned them back down the trail. More shots were fired, this time at the stealers, who were quick to return fire. This made the half-blind cattle even more agitated as they raced in all directions. Davis spotted a riderless horse and then another, and thought he saw Twist yell and go down and missed the thundering hoofs. It was hard to see through the thick dust cloud thrown up from the cracked earth. It took nearly 3 hours to get the animals back under control, and then the counting began. The cost this time was not as bad as they thought, with only 30 head of cattle lost. But they found a dead Comanche, shot and trampled, and then Davis spotted Twist, lying as if asleep under the shade of an old acacia tree. Yet Twist was trampled and dead. His horse had panicked and thrown him as it caught its leg in a hole, and it was left for Davis and the others to bury him where he lay. A simple wooden cross was erected over him beside that of the Indian, and Lexi invited Ricochet to say a few words. The others stood silently by as Davis wiped away a tear and placed the crushed harmonica below the cross. Awkwardly, this taciturn man grunted and began. "Well, you all know Twist and me were a team and had been through a lot of scrapes together. Several years ago, I was lazing in El Paso and got into a saloon bar fight against 4 card chiefs. I was in a fix until Twist, who I didn't know then, surprisingly backed me up. Big Jake McCoy was leader of this gang and he called me out. I thought it was for spoiling his luck, but reasoned later it was over another matter. Luckily I dropped him, and soon after this the bells were ringing out from a small chapel for the wedding of Mr. Mackenzie's only daughter, Sarah, to Harvey Davis. Yes, you've got it. Only Lex knew the truth. But Twist Mackenzie was Sarah, my tomboy wife, and I shall miss her like hell. End.